The SwitchVox desktop application is a desktop companion for your SwitchVox that allows you to make secure phone calls, video calls, conferencing, SMS, and quite a bit more. We're going to take a look at how to install the desktop application and how to use some of its functions. Let's start by going to the downloader. If you have access to the administration portal, you'll have the installer link on the main page. This link can also be provided to you by your administrator, either by email or they may install it on your computer as well. So after a quick installation, you will have a login screen. You're going to use the same credentials that you use to log into the user portal. Now, as we can see here, I'll start with my favorites tab, which has a list of my favorite contacts, also a sales queue and my voicemail access. I can expand this by grabbing the edge, and this is where my chat box would be. Now I'm going to start with the preferences, starting with make calls with. Now, because I have one extension, the option is just to make calls with the main extension, but if I have other extensions, I can choose to make calls outbound, either to colleagues or customers from a different extension than might be my default. Down in audio settings, this will allow me to choose whether I'm using a headset or an external microphone. So it's essentially your speakers when you have a ring or speakerphone, your microphone, where the ringer comes from. So choose your devices accordingly, ringer volume, and your chat settings, whether notifications are on or off. And if you want notifications on your mobile, if you have that set up, and idle status. When you're done with those, go back to the main screen. Now this icon over here is letting us know that we have call encryption on, so this will encrypt our audio, our video, and our chat messages here. And then we've got our status. And my status is extended away vacation, which will allow other users on the system, especially switchboard users, that I am on an extended vacation, and also activate some of the rules I have in my voicemail, such as the greetings that people hear and how calls to my extension are treated. So you can change that anytime. Now we can make a call by using our favorites list. We can also use the keypad to dial external or internal extensions. And we can also use our call log. We can click to dial back the voicemail in this case, and then our contacts. So I'm looking for 202, which I have running on my mobile phone using the Softphone application. I can click 202. And now I'm in a live call here with extension 202. I've got a couple of options here. Because it's a local extension, I can move the call to Sangoma Meet, which is the latest feature in the SwitchVox, which allows me to do video conferencing. So that'll initiate a video conference with 202. I can record the call. I can also transfer the call to another extension or an outside number. And I can do that by choosing another contact, for example, or using the dial pad and typing something external. And I would just hit transfer right here. Now, if I was on a call with another party in a conference call situation, I can click merge, and of course it'll join all three of us together, or even more in certain cases. Now, one thing to note is if I wanted to move the call to Sangoma Meet, I would need to have the compatible software running on the phone, or the user would need to have basically Sangoma Meet from either the desktop application or the desktop SwitchVox phone as well. Now, receiving a call is fairly straightforward, just as you would on any other type of telephone. And here's what that's going to look like here. So here that I have a call coming in. I can answer or ignore. And if I ignore the call, it'll go to my unavailable voicemail message. Now we can move over to the chat tab here. And I'm going to click on this user's name here. Pull up a chat tab. Note if you do click the extension, it will dial it with an audio call. And I can actually have a conversation now with Mr. Wong. Now using the call logs tab here, I can see my outgoing calls as well as my missed calls, and I can also just sort by missed calls here, and I'll have the date and timestamp of the missed call. For our voicemail, we can simply click the voicemail tab, click on the voicemail of interest, which shows also the date and time and from which number or extension with the user caller ID that the voicemail came from. And if we click it here, we have the ability to listen to the voicemail. And we can also delete it from here as well, and everything will sync up with the system. And finally, if we want to use the new Meet conference application, and we come up to the user at the top right and click the Start Meet. So we'll actually be able to invite more people using either the meeting link, or we can share the meeting invitation either by link, email, or we do have some email options here predefined. And then the phone numbers that we can call in the PIN that someone can call in from the outside if they're not using their computer audio. So I can turn my camera on, check the quality of the meeting. I can choose which camera from down below here. I can also choose my microphone and speaker inputs and outputs. I can raise or lower my hand for questions. I can share my screen. I can open and close the chat dialog box here. I can also add a password to the meeting or change the password by clicking security options, setting the PIN over here. And finally, we've got some advanced options over here, such as video quality, muting, recording of the presentation or the meeting, keyboard shortcuts, my preferred audio and video inputs, my display name, and a few other options as well. As you can see too, when I speak, it will indicate who's speaking, and it's a great way to do meetings, presentations, demos, those sort of things. So that was a quick overview of how to use the Switchvox PBX desktop companion. It'll help you make and receive calls, interact more with customers and colleagues, and help you get the most out of your Switchvox PBX. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.